Carl Sagan, 1934 to 1996, was an American astronomer, astrophysicist, author, and science communicator famous for his contributions to science and for popularizing science to the general public. His most important scientific contribution was his research on Venus's atmosphere and how the high surface temperatures of Venus are the result of the greenhouse effect. He also hypothesized that the atmosphere of Titan, one of Saturn's moons, may contain organic compounds that could support life. Initially, Sagan was an assistant professor at Harvard, but in 1968 he was denied tenure at Harvard, so he moved to Cornell, where he spent most of his career. He published more than 600 scientific papers and articles and was the author, co-author, and editor of over 20 books. His best-selling book, Cosmos, later became a television series on PBS of the same name, and Pale Blue Dot is a must-read. Both belong to the best popular science books about space and are truly an inspiration. The TV series Cosmos, A Personal Voyage, consisted of 13 one-hour-long episodes, each exploring a different aspect of the universe and its history. Sagan used his engaging and accessible style to introduce viewers to scientific concepts, theories, and discoveries related to cosmology, astronomy, astrophysics, and other related fields. The series covered a wide range of topics, from the Big Bang and the formation of stars and galaxies to the search of extraterrestrial life. Cosmos was a groundbreaking television series that became a cultural phenomenon and had a significant impact on public awareness and interest in space. It was widely praised for its high production values, stunning visuals, and ability to communicate complex scientific ideas to a general audience. It won numerous awards, including a Peabody Award and 2 Emmys, was the highest-rated series in PBS history for a decade, and has been translated into more than 40 languages. Even nowadays, you can still learn a lot from this series. In 2014, a follow-up series titled Cosmos, A Space-Time Odyssey was produced by Seth MacFarlane and Anne Druyan, Sagan's widow. The new series, hosted by astrophysicist Neil deGrasse Tyson, aimed to update and expand upon the original series, exploring new discoveries and developments in the field of astronomy and cosmology. In addition, Sagan wrote the science fiction novel Contact, which later became a science fiction movie with Jodie Foster in a leading role. Sagan was known for his ability to explain complex scientific concepts in a way that was understandable to the general public. He hosted several television shows and appeared on many talk shows to share his knowledge and love of science. Sagan worked on several NASA missions, including the Mariner, Viking, and Voyager missions, to explore other planets and moons in our solar system. In addition, Sagan assembled the first physical messages sent into space, the Pioneer Plaque and the Voyager Golden Record, as a universal message for potential extraterrestrials. Sagan was a strong advocate for the search of extraterrestrial intelligence, SETI, and helped to found the SETI Institute. Overall, Carl Sagan was a prominent figure in science and science communication who left a lasting legacy that continues to inspire people to this day. In addition, Carl Sagan strongly believed in the possibility of extraterrestrial life. He believed that given the vastness of the universe and the number of potentially habitable planets, it's likely that there is other intelligent life out there. In the 60s, Carl Sagan even published about Paleoseti, which later became famous under Erich von Däniken. Paleoseti is the idea that ancient cultures may have been visited or influenced by extraterrestrial life, and that evidence of this interaction may be found in their art, mythology, and other cultural artifacts. While Carl Sagan was interested in the possibility of extraterrestrial life and even helped to establish, for the Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence SETI program, he later became skeptical of the idea that extraterrestrials have visited Earth in the past. He believed that claims of ancient extraterrestrial visitations or influences were often based on speculation and lacked solid evidence. In his book, The Demon-Haunted World: Science, A Candle in the Dark, Sagan wrote that extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence, and that claims of ancient contact with extraterrestrial life fell into the category of extraordinary claims. He did not dismiss the idea outright, but rather urged caution and critical thinking when evaluating such claims. In his book, The Cosmic Connection: An Extraterrestrial Perspective, Sagan wrote, "The universe is a pretty big place. If it's just us, it seems like an awful waste of space. He also argued that the search for extraterrestrial life was important for understanding our place in the universe and for stimulating scientific curiosity and discovery. Sagan's enthusiasm for the search for extraterrestrial life and his ability to communicate complex scientific concepts to the general public helped popularize the idea of the existence of extraterrestrial life. Sagan was born in Brooklyn, New York, on November 9, 1934. His father, Samuel Sagan, was an immigrant garment worker from today's Ukraine. His mother, Rachel Molly Gruber, was a housewife from New York. His parents helped nurture his growing interest in science by buying him chemistry sets and reading materials. His interest in space, however, was his primary focus, especially after reading science fiction stories by writers such as H.G. Wells and Edgar Rice Burroughs, which stirred his imagination about the possibilities of life on other planets like Mars. Sagan attended the University of Chicago, where he earned his bachelor's and a master's degree in physics in 1955 and 1956 respectively, and a doctorate in astronomy and astrophysics in 1960. In addition to science, he campaigned for nuclear disarmament. In 1983, he co-wrote the paper that introduced the concept of nuclear winter, a catastrophic global cooling that would result from a nuclear war. Furthermore, he helped organize a big UFO symposium in 1969. Sagan received numerous awards and honors, including the Pulitzer Prize for Nonfiction in 1978 for his book The Dragons of Eden and the National Aeronautics and Space Administration's Distinguished Public Service Medal 1977 and 1981. But despite his many accomplishments, not everyone was a fan of him, according to Smithsonian Magazine. The scientific community's divided opinion about Sagan came to a head in 1992. When Sagan was on the verge of being elected as part of a larger pool of 60 nominees to the National Academy of Sciences. A rump caucus of scientists within the Academy made a fuss, saying Sagan hadn't accomplished enough in his research. After a hot debate, with Sagan supporters defending his hard science achievements, the frowners prevailed, and Sagan's name was flicked from the list of the newly anointed. Sagan received condolence letters from outraged colleagues. In an interview with me a few years later, he shrugged it off, saying he'd always assumed he'd never get in. But Druyan told me it was painful. It seemed like a kind of unsolicited slight. The Academy tried to salve the wound in 1994 by giving Sagan an honorary medal for his contributions to public understanding of science. Whereas Isaac Asimov said that he had met only 2 people whom he considered smarter than himself, Carl Sagan was one of these people. Sagan died of pneumonia at the age of 62 on December 20th, 1996. The Mars Pathfinder Mission Landing Unit was renamed the Carl Sagan Memorial Station in 1997 in honor of him. What do you think of Carl Sagan? Write in the comments.